Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we're hoping that we have enough Delta V here to actually land this colony on Gilly, and we definitely have enough to enter orbit of Gilly. We'll have about 161 meters per second remaining, approximately, and this will be the orbit that we're going to be in. This is not a circular orbit, this is a minimal orbit, and realistically we probably should bring it down to be somewhere around 10 kilometers is probably fine here. That's only an additional like 3 meters per second. So I think we'll have enough to pull this off, but we'll find out. We're going to go ahead and warp forward, and this is of course going to be a fairly lengthy burn. We're not shocked about that, but it's going to be a 5-minute burn. What I really want to know here is what our thrust to weight over Gilly is. That's the real question right now. So once we enter the sphere of influence of Gilly, then we'll find out. Hello, Eve. Where is Gilly, anyway? We haven't spotted it just yet, but it should be around somewhere. It's very small, so it's hard to say. But we're just warping on forward until we are in position for this. And yeah, the real question here is what is the thrust to weight over Gilly? Obviously, over Eve, it's tiny. But over Gilly, it will be much, much, much higher. So that's definitely going to be good. Okay, we've got about 3 more days here. I thought I saw Gilly for a moment there, but no. We're much closer to Eve now, which is absolutely fine. There's Gilly. Didn't spot it until we were right on top of it. Okay, thrust to weight over Gilly is 14.32. That is amazing. I like it. That's really, really high. With the thrust limiter at 15%, that's great. We're going to warp on forward a little bit further here. Another 30 seconds. 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay. So we're burning. And this burn is going to be somewhat lengthy. I'm not going to pause the recording this time because it's not going to be like giga lengthy. We're just going to take this up to 4x here. Time acceleration. Cool. And we'll try to hold here. We've picked up a bit of a waggle, but it should be okay. I'm not too concerned about that. As long as we're reasonably close to being on the retrograde marker, which is really what we want here. Cool. So we've got about 4 minutes of burn time left here. And we'll have plenty of time to get this done, I think. Oh yeah, we'll definitely have plenty of time to get this burn done. No issue whatsoever there. It doesn't really matter where on Gilly we land this thing. I do want to land it on the daylight side for recording purposes. So that'll be fine. And we've got about 120 meters per second left in this burn. And you can barely see the particles here on the time acceleration, but I assure you they are there. Cool. About 2 minutes left on this burn now. So that's about 30 seconds of real time here with us in physics warp. And once this is down to about 30 seconds remaining, we will come out of physics warp. Cool. We've got about 1 minute remaining of burn time here. Excellent. And let's pull on out of this physics warp right about now. Cool. And now we'll be able to park on the maneuver node a little bit better. There we go. And we'll just bring that on in. Cool. So bring this around, and we're not entering a minimal orbit here. We're going to bring the periapsis down, probably manually. Yeah, 130 meters per second left. That's about what we expected to have. Cool. And I'm just watching this periapsis decline. That's good enough. Okay, beautiful. So at this periapsis, I want to circularize our orbit. We're not going to do an inclination change, I don't think. But I want to just circularize this to be about 8 kilometers. That sounds good to me. So this is only a couple of meters per second here. Ooh, that was too much. Yeah, that's definitely too much there. This should be fine, to be honest. 7,000 will be good enough. So we'll align for that burn. And we can see our surface velocity here is only 6.1 meters per second. So I think we'll be fine. The real question is, how much speed will we pick up on the way down? Well, we're going to be reducing our gravitational potential energy here with this burn. So let's go ahead and warp on forward. And this is only going to be a 3-second burn. That's quite a lot of drift there, but it's fine. Cool. So we'll position for this burn, and then we will warp on forward. Again, I want to come down on the day side. This is definitely awkward, and we're probably not going to be assembling it and then moving it like this again. And 0. Cool. We'll call that good enough. This is now going to be a 6-kilometer periapsis over here. To be honest, we're just going to warp to somewhere around this periapsis. Yeah, that should be reasonably fine. And we'll just warp to about here, I think. There we go. And then we're going to park retrograde, and we're just going to bring this thing on in. We've only got 116 meters per second left, but that's fine. We've got, I think, plenty. We'll keep an eye on what Flight Engineer says our suicide burn is going to cost. And it'll be a little higher than that because I don't necessarily trust that number, so I don't do it fully efficiently. We're going to bring this around. We just stopped the time warp because we dipped down below 8 kilometers. So we now cannot time warp. We can physics warp, but we now cannot time warp. The question is, how far do we want to go? So I'm going to add our maneuver to be, I think, somewhere around here. And we're just going to bring that on down to basically kill our horizontal velocity. I don't care where on the planet this goes, or not planet, on the moon this goes. It's just a little rock, right? So it's fine. We'll place this just anywhere. 21 meters per second. Okay, sounds good. We'll align for that maneuver. And that burn is going to be in 27 minutes. Noted. Yeah, we can't time warp here. We can physics warp. And I don't want to put down right here, because this is basically right on the Terminator. However, once we get over here, that should be fine, realistically. So let's just go ahead and come out of physics warp for the moment. Let's just head over to retrograde. Let's go to surface retrograde. And the real question is, as we align something like this, yeah, I want to check our actual position here. Yeah, so one thing we could actually do from here is we could hop back to the Space Center, and we could warp from there if we wanted to get that a little bit more correct. So it'll have to be a manual warp, which is fine, because we don't have to be super precise on this. So a manual warp would do the trick. Come on, you can load in. Even with the loading times, this is still going to be faster. So we're going to go over to our colony core. And what we want to do is we want to warp here until we are roughly here or so. So this'll do. Yeah, very close now. Excellent. This is definitely looking good. So honestly, I think we're fine now. So we'll go ahead and fly that, and we can bring this down at any time from here. So that's fine, and we'll just go ahead and do so. Beautiful. I'm not expecting this to be very much in terms of velocity here. And let's get in position. There we go. We can burn this anytime we want, but we want to be in surface retrograde. So we're going to bring this down 17.5 meters per second. We've got 116 left. Cool. This DV is not very much here. 19.7 meters per second. And dropping. Cool. 5 meters per second on our surface velocity. 2, well, that was 3. 2, 1, And we're going to have to cut our thrust here because we're having a hard time keeping up with our actual surface velocity. But that will now drift its way over towards being vertical. So at this point, this is going to be a 13 meter per second suicide burn. I like it. And we're not actually going to burn quite that carelessly, I guess I would say, but we're going to have to physics warp our way down here. And we're moving very slowly. There's basically no speed here, but once we get to 1 meter per second, then we can lock to surface retrograde. Cool. And now we've got about 7 minutes on our countdown. So we're going to keep an eye on that and bring this on in. Okay, it's 7 minutes as of now. So in terms of real time, that's going to be about 2 minutes. So that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So we'll bring this on in. I wish we could warp a little bit faster, but we cannot. This is the best we've got. We're looking at 13 meters per second. We've got 96, so we've got plenty. That's looking great. In terms of our contracts here, we need to plant a flag on Gilly. We're not going to get credit for this contract or this contract. We're going to do this one separately, probably next, and then this one probably after that, just to get it cleaned up and be done with Gilly. That would be the idea. We could actually EVA report here. KimCam, go ahead and do that. And we can grab a gravity scan as well. We'll keep that experiment for now. Fantastic. And we're not warping anymore, so that's looking good. We're about 4 minutes away from our landing burn. This is looking pretty sketch on the steepness of the hill, but it's Gilly. I don't think we'll have problems. We've got so many wheels with brakes that are going to be going different directions. I think we'll be fine. So we've got about 3 minutes on our countdown here, and we can see we're going to be landing there. Excellent. 2.5 minutes. All is looking good. 2 minutes. 1 minute 45. A minute and a half. 1 minute and 15 seconds. 1 minute to go here. 45 seconds. 30 seconds. Okay, we're going to come out of physics warp now. Cool. And we're going to burn this at about 5 seconds, as we normally do. Lock to retrograde. 15 seconds to go. Okay, we're going to burn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Excellent. And we're just bringing our speed on down here. Cutting our throttle a little bit. Cool. We're going at 2 meters per second right now. Cutting our throttle a lot. We're still decelerating. This is still decelerating. Okay. We'll just let this accelerate back up a little bit, and let's just get positioned right over here. Cool. And we're bringing this on down. This is definitely in a steep area, but I think it'll be fine. Gravity is so low. I'm just trying to kill our horizontal speed right now without necessarily demolishing our vertical speed. So we're just going to head out over this direction a little bit to bring that horizontal speed a bit more into line. There we go. That's looking much better. And we're just gently dropping on down. Yes, it's steep, but we don't really have the delta V here to go anywhere else. So I think it's okay, realistically. 0.7 meters per second. And I'm throttling up slightly to bring that down just a smidge. 0.6. We're going to have contact here in a moment, over on this side or this side first. 0.5 meter per second. Brakes are on. 0.4 meters per second. 0.3. Dropping the throttle again. We don't need to slow down any more than this. We are technically on the ground, I believe. Cutting the throttle. SAS going off. Are we going back up right now? Are we bouncing? We are bouncing a little bit. But I think we'll settle. We're bringing it on in. I'm trying to cushion our landing a little bit. There we go. I'm just hoping not to bounce too much. Okay. It is steep. We're just trying to settle in here so that we have more wheels working on braking. As in, you know, using their brakes, not falling apart. I'm going to turn all of our brakes up because I suspect we're going to need that. Specifically the ones on the hill first. Now, a lot of these are not contacting the ground at this moment. And we may just coast on downhill for a while here. So let's get all of these turned on up. There we go. And let's get these guys turned up as well. Now, this one's broken and is already maxed. Oh, these all maxed automatically. Okay, perfect. So we'll now work on these guys. That one's broken, but not all of these are, and we don't need them to be functioning. This is completely fine, as long as we manage to come to a halt. And we'll find a location where we do eventually. So that's reasonably fine. A lot of these wheels are currently broken. That's unsurprising. But again, it's completely fine. So we're turning all of these brakes up. Not that I really expect it to do too much. There we go. And we knew that this would be pretty steep, but it should, in theory, be okay-ish. Okay. So there's all of our wheels being turned up. Now the question is, how far are we going to slide? That's a good question. I do want to have Milnerd immediately take up a position in the lab here. So we're going to transfer Milnerd over to the science lab, which is over here. Apparently, I can't do that. That's interesting. Is something preventing this? Very strange. Okay, well, we'll just hopefully come to a halt here soon. We are working on braking at this point, I hope. But this is very, very steep, and we knew that that would be the case. I don't really feel comfortable with physics warping here. So that's a bit of a concern, but we are starting to level out here, I think. Definitely by the time we get over here. We can see it starts to go back up, so we should settle in fairly soon here. If we don't pick up too much more speed than this, it's fine. I see that we picked up a bit of a spin. And we're locked in this weird mode. Okay, there we go. Cool. So we could alter the spin by just doing this, right? Turning SAS on. That would counteract the spin. And that's fine. We are picking up a little bit more speed on this drift. There's not too much that we can do about that other than just wait to come to a stop. We came down in a pretty in a pretty steep location. But to some degree that's just the way the way Gilly is. It's not very smooth, not very flat. So just come on over here and let this continue to drift. Now, we are clipping through these. We could turn on colliders for all of these in the parallax settings. That's an option, but it's not on right now for performance reasons. As we can see, there's already some performance issues here with this particular craft. It's not the smoothest thing we've ever seen, so that's fine. We're definitely sliding down a pretty steep incline at this moment, but it will start to go back up over here. We're getting close. We're up to 1.3 meters per second, and we're just hoping that this will settle in soon. So that'll be fine, and then once that gets going, we will start getting all of this. We should probably hop back to Minmus and see if we have that ore by now. We should by now. So we can do that. In the meantime, we can grab our crew report, our temperature scan, our mystery goo observation. Actually, we shouldn't even be doing this right now. Okay, so let's have Milnerd transfer, hopefully. Yeah, we definitely can't transfer over to the mobile processing lab. Yeah, there's no crew on that part, I'm aware. I don't know why we can't get in here, apparently. Let's get out of this mode. Okay, and crossfeed is enabled. I don't know, maybe he's not able to climb through the Science Junior and Service Bay. That's a possibility. So we are up to 1.4 meters per second here. We will start to slow down fairly soon, though. I see us rotating this direction, and I feel like that's not actually the worst thing here. That'll get more wheels in line with the direction of movement. So I think that's reasonably okay. I'm not going to do anything about that at this moment, but it is now going to start to level off. There will be another drop-off over here before it really starts to go back up. So you can see if we end up sliding all the way down here, that's going to be a while. I'm hoping that our slide stops here. We'll see how realistic that is. We're definitely drifting over, though. I want to turn off our brakes and then turn them back on just to make sure that they are all on, because I don't think that we reset them after our docking maneuvers. So for the moment, that's fine, but this is about to start going back uphill. My question is, how quickly are we going to start dropping speed? Also, the frame rate is getting worse. I'm not sure that we stop until we get to the bottom here. It is about time to put a cut in here, and that's going to be a pretty long slide. So I think what we're going to have to do is put a cut in here now. And once we get to the bottom, we will come back in the next episode. And I'll have an update on if we lost any bits from this or not. Because I don't think that we're actually going to stop here now that I look at the actual incline here. We landed, like, up here, and we've got a ways to go, so we'll get there soon enough. For now, you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, MLohan80, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisoul, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.